government cover-ups. You want answers? Well, so does he. He's Alex Jones on the GCN Radio Network. And now, live from Austin, Texas, Alex Jones.
So, going through the economic news, ahead of Dr. Nick Begich joining us, economic recovery not strong enough to alter stimulus, the Federal Reserve says. I sleep a lot better knowing the Fed that engineered all this publicly and that it's private and won't tell Congress where the trillions went. I sleep good knowing they run everything secretly. Don't you? And keep telling us that if we just give them more power and unlimited money, they'll fix it all. Though they want a depression. Federal Reserve officials, not private corporate criminals, officials, authorities, financial veterans, Federal Reserve officials, they're officials, stuck with the pace of their $60 billion Treasury bond buying program last month, becoming the trillions, because the economy wasn't improving fast enough to make a noticeable dent in unemployment. Minutes of the December meeting show. Man, that's their little public, quasi-public meeting where they give us a bunch of baloney. Spending by consumers and businesses has improved heading into the final month of 2010. And Congress was on the verge of enacting a tax cut package that would bolster the economy, Fed officials said. That made them more confident the economic recovery would gain momentum, according to the minutes of the Fed's closed-door meeting December 14th. Then they go back into the double talk. Risk still loomed, the minutes said, particularly a weak housing market and spending cuts and layoffs from state and local governments. And then Kurt Nimmo has an article boiling down why we see the oil going up so much. On December 16th, Lindsey Williams told Alex Jones the price of crude oil would soon hit $150 to $200 per barrel. And this would translate into gas prices in the range of $4 to $5 per gallon. Williams, an ordained Baptist minister who went to Alaska in 1971 as a missionary, was told about the price increases by insiders in the oil industry he had befriended. And he went through all of his predictions. And since then, crude oil has gone up more than $10. And now we've seen head executives at Shell and other places say, oh, yeah, $150, $200 a barrel by 2012. $5 plus at the gas pump. And then there's a really disgusting article, the facts in it are disgusting, by the Economic Collapse blog up on Infowars.com. Everything is falling apart. 20 facts that you will not want to read if you still want to feel good about America's decaying infrastructure. And we're not trying to be negative here. We're being honest about what's happening so we can stop the policies that have engineered this. Number one, 1/3 of Americans' major roads are in poor or mediocre condition. Number two, traffic on more than half the miles of interstate highway exceeds 70% of capacity, and nearly 25% of the miles are strained at more than 95% of capacity. Number three, Americans waste 4.2 billion hours and 2.8 billion gallons of fuel a year sitting in traffic, equally to nearly one full work week and 3 weeks worth of gas for every traveler. Number four, over the next 30 years, our nation is expected to grow by 100 million, and highway traffic will double again, even if the highway capacity grows no faster. In the next 25 years, Americans can expect to spend 160 hours or 4 work weeks each year in traffic by 2035. Number five, nearly 1/3 of all highway fatalities are due to be substandard road conditions, obsolete road designs, and roadside hazards. Number six, over 4,095 dams are unsafe and have deficiencies that leave them more susceptible to failure, especially during large flood events and earthquakes. Well, that's only 6 points out of the 20. You know, in Europe, the trains go over 200 miles an hour. In Japan, close to 300. Same thing in China. Our trains can hardly go 50 miles an hour. 100 years ago, they were going over 100 because they've got ancient railways. They don't fix anything. Hi, folks. This is Alex Jones asking you for a minute of your time to tell you about Not detergents, but good old-fashioned pure soap made by the Skull&Bones Soap Company, a family-owned and operated American company. My family, staff, friends, and radio listeners are constantly telling me how much they love these products for bath, hair, laundry, and dishes. There is nothing like these factory-direct, big money-saving, triple-concentrated soaps anywhere. Get a free detailed catalog by calling 800-340-7091 or see them online at 5starsoap.com or Infowars.com. Let's talk to the owner of 5-Star Soap, Marty Schachter, and see what he has to say.
As founder and owner for over 63 years, people keep asking me, how's business? I'm happy to say our business is going down the drain. Call us at 1-800-340-7091. Visit our website, 5starsoap.com, for buying our 1 to 2 month soap sampler. Thank you.
A very wealthy U.S. citizen is predicting that in 2011, we will witness the most important day in America in more than 50 years. He says it will change everything about our lives. The way you shop, travel, invest, educate your children, and even how you take care of your health and your own family. Now, this man has made some outrageous predictions over the years. The crazy part is, he's usually right. You see, he predicted the collapse of GM, Fannie Mae, Freddie Mac, and America's biggest mall owner, General Growth Properties. In fact, Barron's called his work a dire prophecy. Recently, he created a video, which you can watch online for free, detailing his biggest and most important prediction yet. And it's a real eye-opener. I can't stress this enough. You should at least watch this free video online today. He explains everything you need to know, including simple steps you can take to protect yourself. You can find the video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica, the number 3.com. Watch the free video at www.endofamerica3.com. That's endofamerica3.com. Hello, this is Alex Jones with some important questions. If you're going into a battle and they give you a rifle and a sidearm, how much ammunition do you want? My answer would be all I can get. In the battle for freedom and the lives of your loved ones, food is your only ammunition. How much do you want? When do you want it? Now or after the battle starts? When will you need it? Can you buy it without proper identification? Will there be any food? Will it make your children sick? If there's a quarantine and you can't feed yourself, will you go to the gathering center and be immunized? You wipe out all these problems if you have a good food supply. Food is your ammunition to fight for your freedom and your life. How much will you need? We don't know. How much do you want? All you can get. I'm Alex Jones. I want all of you good guys to live to fight another day. Call 1-800-409-5633 or check it out on the web at efoodsdirect.com. Again, that number, 1-800-409-5633.
From his Central Texas Command Center, deep behind enemy lines, the information war continues. It's Alex Jones and the GCN Radio Network.
We're live 8 minutes into the second hour of worldwide broadcast. Dr. Nick Begich, eldest son of late United States Congressman from Alaska, Nick Begich Sr. His brother is the U.S. Senator from Alaska, and he's a best-selling author. The website is earthpulse.com. He heads up the lay group that's studying electromagnetics and advanced technologies. He's got a long bio. He really doesn't need any introduction here. He's also the author, of course, of Angels Don't Play This HAARP. We're going to get into Tesla technologies with him, which now, again, more and more mainstream news is admitting is much more advanced than we even know, that the FBI confiscated the documents and has suppressed much of it. I want to get into the bees dying, the bumblebees, 4 species of those, more than half of them gone. All sorts of bizarre bird die-offs that are going on. But the government says it isn't pesticides. Though there is a pesticide sprayed generally in December and January that is restricted in use that only kills blackbirds. Jaron's in there researching it right now. All these big fish die-offs, the increase in volcanic activity here in the United States. We're going to discuss it all with Dr. Nick Begich. Plus that Daily Mail article. You guys pulled that out of the stack the other day. We printed it in color. Admitting that they're putting up HAARP-type technology in Middle Eastern nations causing rainstorms, which is what Dr. Begich and others have gone over the patents and shown HAARP and other systems are a big part of. So This has always been in the scientific literature, if you know where to look. Weather modification, known as chemtrailing, the geoengineering. But what has changed is the internet has forced all this out in the open, so the mainstream corporate media is playing catch-up. Dr. Nick Begich, great to have you here with us.
Well, thanks for having me again, Alex, and it's always good to be with you, especially on these topics these days. It's pretty important issues.
You know, it's funny. We called you Monday, and I'd already told Jaron I wanted to get you on the show to talk about the birds and the news reporting on electromagnetic weather modification systems, farms they're putting in all over the world. Most of them, of course, are covert, but the Arabs are admitting they've got them. And then right after that happened, I guess great minds think alike. Coast to Coast AM called and got you and I on together. That was certainly an informative and fast-paced hour.
Yeah, that was great. You know, and it's been a long time since we've been together on radio, and it's always great to be on with folks that stay informed on this stuff, because as you know, so many people are just unaware, and it is a little bit technical, but these are the things of the 21st century and things that all of us can weigh in on.
Well, it certainly is. What do you want to tackle first? You want to get into the weather modification and the Tesla technologies, or do you want to get into the leaked document, EPA knowingly approved bee-killing pesticide, mass bird and fish die-offs, go global, spark end times panic?
Let's jump into the weather modification going on in the Middle East right now, because that, I think, is perhaps one of the big drivers for a lot of these things that we're starting to see. You know, the idea that we can modify weather utilizing technologies has been around a long time. People remember the stories of cloud seeding and using various chemicals and compounds to try and suck a little moisture out of the atmosphere. But really, some big changes happened, and the understanding of how energy interacts with weather systems became interesting for many researchers. Electrostatics, the stuff of the article in the Middle East, being able to create and stimulate rainfall, that's been around quite a while. In fact, if you go back to a number of years ago, back in the 90s, there were some very large fires in Indonesia blowing smoke into Malaysia. Many will remember that situation is pretty horrendous. But at that time, missed by most, but the mainstream did pick it up, there was an article about a Russian company offering electrostatics, basically saying, hey, we can steer we can create an artificial hurricane and blow the smoke right out of the way. During the Olympics, it came up both in Russia and China at various times that weather modification was one way to keep the Olympics free of bad weather. All of this, while all of this is going on and gaining great currency in terms of science, there's been no sort of regulation of it. When you look at the planet, you can't alter weather in one place and just expect that everything sort of stays in that neighborhood. That isn't how it works. Whatever we do in one place has profound and usually unexpected results elsewhere, and that's where some pretty significant risks come in. The other place, going back to some of the work that Bernard Eastlund was doing when he invented HAARP, that whole system was predicated on huge amounts of energy being available for manipulating weather formations. And what Eastlund discovered in 2004, 2005, a couple years before he died, was the idea that HAARP could manipulate what are called gravitational waves, which he believed were the root of weather systems, using energy 1/1600th of the energy he originally thought was needed. In other words, just a small fraction of energy was needed to manipulate gravitational waves that then would have this cascading reaction through geophysical systems, including weather systems. And that research he actually presented when I was working as executive director of the Lay Institute. We had Dr. Eastlund in Dallas for a conference on mind effects, and one of the things that he talked about, of course, was HAARP and some of its applications, particularly in this area of weather modification.
From your deep research, I know you've gone through that HAARP is multifaceted, over-the-horizon radar-type systems, weather modification. I mean, really, it's an array of things. But when you talk about gravitational waves, it's interesting. Fox News and others are pointing out that meteorologist, climatologist Piers Corbin, who we've had on before, stunningly can predict the weather.